Oh, so welcome to today's session where we are joined by Sapphire, who's going to talk to us about cyber security and everything. And I've met, I can't get my words out now. Met Sapphire a few months back and heard what she had to say, and I knew I had to bring the session over to Pink Pig and our clients and everybody because it's really, really interesting. So I shall hand over to Sapphire and let's get on.
Thank you, Cheryl. Hi, everybody. I'm Sapphire Little. I am the Business Development Manager at the Eastern Cyber Resilience Centre, which is a police organisation that was set up to help small and medium organisations, charities and schools not be victims of cybercrime. So today I'm going to be talking you through some quick cyber fundamentals so that we can all learn how to best protect our business from cyber attacks. So firstly, we're going to have a look at what the current threats are to targeting your organisation. And first up, I'm going to show you a really interesting case study that was done by the Welsh Government. It's based off a real cyber attack that happened to a care home in Wales, where a lady fell victim to quite a sophisticated cyber attack, and it sort of follows her story through that journey. So I'm just going to play that now. Just hold on with me whilst I get the video up. There you go. Yes.
I'm Diane. I'm a finance manager at a care home and a victim of cybercrime. Where would you start? I walked in the office and said hello to Joe, made a cup of tea and sat down at my desk, as I do every morning, to quickly scan through my emails. Spam, newsletters, and an email from Sandra, my managing director, asking me to fill in an online form. So I click on it, which took me to a familiar looking portal. It asked me for my details, the usual stuff, email, name, phone number, create a password. And it was from Sandra, so I thought nothing of it. So that was that. Emails checked, time for work. The next day, I walked in the office, said hello to Joe, made a cup of tea and sat down at my desk. And wow, the inbox was alive. I had loads of emails from worried colleagues. And when I scrolled down to read the entire thread, I could see that I'd sent out an email, which read, "Hello, I'm really embarrassed to ask, but our bank balance is really low due to the cost of bills at the moment. Please, could you send money here to help us out?" I never sent anything. And then the phone rang. Hello? It's the bank. Yeah. Thanks for calling. Yeah, something odd is happening. They said they'd seen some fraudulent activity on the bank account and they needed me to verify my credentials for them to shut it down. We're not a big company, so I was grateful for the help and relieved to be able to sort out whatever the strange behaviour that was going on. I guess I got swept up in the moment and I wasn't thinking things through. I gave them the bank details, my username, the secret PIN. They told me to be careful of online scammers, as they've seen a lot of people clicking on dishonest links at the moment, so be sceptical. I told them about the form Sandra had sent me and asked if that might have started from that. They told me they'd sort everything out and not to worry. And so with that, relieved, I got on with my day. Crisis averted. Except it had only just begun. It was Sandra. "Why have you removed thousands of pounds from the business's bank account? This is very serious." The police said I'd downloaded malicious software known as malware onto my computer. They said that Sandra's email wasn't sent from her at all, but instead an email account spoofed to look like hers. That's how they got onto my computer to send those emails out. And they'd called me on the phone number I'd given them when I was submitting that form. I just can't believe how quickly it all happened. The police keep saying, remember, you're a victim in all this. And workers saying, not to worry. But I just can't face everyone knowing what I've done. All that money that should be going to paying the staff, providing care for our patients, stolen because of me. It's beyond awful, and it could have been avoided. The police say this is happening all the time, but it doesn't make you feel any better. I know now I could have read the email more thoroughly before clicking the link, checked if it really was from Sandra. I should have put the phone down when they claimed to be the bank and called the bank directly myself. But this sort of thing has never happened to me before. And I just didn't stop and think. But you can.
Right, so yeah, that was actually a very powerful video showing how sophisticated cyber attacks can get nowadays. Obviously that was done by actors, but it was representing a true story, and the lady who actually fell victim to that attack, she couldn't end up coming back to work because she was so distraught and embarrassed by what had happened. But like, you know, the actress mentioned in that video, she was a victim in this. These people are trained up by, you know, essentially professional criminals to manipulate people into handing over their information. And with that case, as we saw, it was very, very sophisticated. Her manager Sandra's email account was hacked. The criminals set up a fake website which had a form and sent it over to all the employees. This lady filled it out, and in that she gave away her personal email, her phone number, and everything like that. And it was just like a simple work form that looked no different to hundreds of forms that she'd filled out before. And then they had a lot of details to then target her. Her then email account got hacked. She sent out loads of links to all the people in their community who support the care home, saying, can you donate money, as we're going underneath a lot of financial pressures right now. And then she got a phone call from someone pretending to be the bank, saying there's some suspicious activity going on. Obviously it's all coincidental, so she's like, yes, of course there is. Gave them even more details because they sounded very convincing, and then it just snowballed from there, and they lost thousands of pounds at the company. So nowadays we're seeing such a different trend when it comes to cyber attacks. Criminals are putting in so much more work into doing it because it's such a big reward. And nowadays we're all online so much that there's a lot of public facing information that you could easily get from somebody. If you just think about your LinkedIn, on my LinkedIn it has where I went to school, where I went to university, what my first job was, a lot of this personal identifiable information that could be used against you in an attack to trick you into thinking this person is someone who you can trust, someone who knows you, someone who's from the bank, someone who's from your circle. So I feel like that's a very, very, very good case study to just show that if someone is calling you and it sounds like there's someone that you know and trust, always take that extra 5 seconds to think, and always think that it doesn't matter what information they're telling me. I can take that 5 seconds to hang up and call the bank that I know and trust. I can not reply to that email straight away. I can contact I can contact Sandra myself and see if she actually did send that email, just little things like that. So I'm going to continue on with the slides now and just move this around 1 second. There we go. Right, it's up on my screen. Right, so understanding the sort of threat landscape in a bit more detail, because obviously, like I mentioned, being a police organisation, we do go out and do a lot of community engagement. And often when we're at trade shows or walking around high streets or just speaking to local businesses, we always hear the phrase, why would I be the target of a cyber attack? Now, most people don't realise is that it doesn't matter how big or small you are. If you are online in any way, so if you connect to the internet in any way, have a bank account, social media, email account, anything like that, then you are a potential target for a cyber attack. And that goes for companies as well. So anything that is online can be hacked. And that's because cybercriminals, they target vulnerabilities, not how big or small you are. I think most people that we speak to think that, you know, why are they going to target me? I just own a small baking business on the Norfolk coast. Why is someone going to target me for my money? But to some of these threat actors, £200 from you through manipulating you through a phishing email is their weekly wage, due to, you know, where they're based and what their actual income looks like. And cybercrime is very, very similar to when criminals would go out. It doesn't happen as much anymore, but when criminals would go out and they just go to any street, they'd try different cars until they came across one that had left their boot unlocked or left their front door unlocked or something like that. When that criminal went out to burgle that car, they didn't think, oh, I'm going to target that polo on that street. They just went out and just tried different ones until they came across an opportunity. That's the same way with what most cyber attacks look like. These criminals are sending out thousands and thousands and thousands of attacks each and every day, and they're just waiting for you to engage with it. And as soon as you engage, it's almost like you're lighting up on a switchboard to say, hey, I'm here. And sometimes they won't send you the dodgy link straight away. Sometimes they won't want to get your bank details straight away. They'll want to see you light up on that switchboard, so then they can engage with you and manipulate you and pull you into it, just like we saw with that case study there. So always remember that if you're online in any way, then you are a target, and that goes to your personal life as well. It's not just in business. Obviously, we all use the internet in our personal lives as well. Now, understanding the scale of the problem in a bit more detail, all these figures are from the latest UK cyber breaches survey, which is done in 2024. I'm just going to run through them a little bit here because I know they're written quite small. First up, we have 58% of small businesses fell victim to cybercrime in the last 12 months. So that's almost doubled within a year. In 2023, I believe it was 32% of small businesses, so it's almost doubled. The most common type of cyber attack was phishing attempts. So those are those scam emails you get, or texts or calls or things like that. That was the most common type at 84%. Online fraud and cybercrime equates for 50% of all recorded crime in England and Wales. So think of every single crime type that's out there. Online fraud and cybercrime equates for 50% of that, which is absolutely crazy. And does anyone want to take a guess of how much of the police budget is roughly allocated for cybercrime?
Probably minute.
How much did you say, Sochelle?
I said it's probably minute.
Yes, no, it is. I don't know the exact figure, but when I started in this role about 3 years ago, it was around 1%. Wow. Which is great. And that's for actually solving it. So nowadays it may have been, like I said, I don't know the exact figure. But with cybercrime, it's quite hard to solve the case once it's been done, because of, you know, for example, here it says 75% of cyber attacks are committed outside of the UK. So if the person that's hacked your account is based in a country that we have a bit of a hostile relationship with, or, you know, we don't have that good connections with, it's going to be hard for us to build a case for you to get your money back. And also, if there's multiple agencies involved, or there's, you know, your email account and your bank account and stuff like that, it's quite hard to know whose responsibility it is for the attack happening in the first place. So that's why it's really important to build your resilience towards cyber attacks and try and make sure that you're ahead of the person next to you. My manager loves to use the analogy that with cybercrime and building your resilience towards it, it's almost like being chased by a bear. So if you're being chased by a bear, you don't need to outrun the bear, you just need to outrun the person next to you so they can get eaten and then the bear's okay. So that's kind of what it's like when it comes to cybercrime. You want to make sure that you're building your resilience, you have those strong passwords, you're aware of what phishing attacks look like nowadays, so that, you know, the next person next to you can get attacked, which is not very friendly to your neighbours, but you know. A successful cybersecurity breach could result in costs of around £2,000 for a micro or small business, and that's not taking into account the reputational damage that comes from that. I think a lot of small business owners, you know, you take so much time to build your community and build that trusted circle around you, and if they found out that you lost their bank details or their personal data in a cyber attack, how would they feel, and would they want to return to your business after that? So, you know, you're not only losing money and time, you're also losing that reputation that you've built up and worked so hard for. 4 in 10 SMEs say they would struggle to recover from data loss, and 1 in 4 SMEs admit that they wouldn't be able to recover any data. So whatever platform you operate your business off now, if that got hacked tomorrow, would you be able to operate without it? Do you have an offline backup present, for example, a printed out sheet of your clients or your key things that you need to do for your day-to-day business to continue? Do you have that plan in case everything goes offline and you can still build and recover, or at least have something to refer back to? And then finally, 41% of UK consumers claim that they would never return to a business after a data breach. That's that reputational damage that I was talking about. So it's not all doom and gloom. There are some things that you can do. I'm going to put some examples of different potential scams on the screen, and we're going to have a vote whether or not we think they're scams or not. Now, Cheryl, you have seen these slides in the group that we met in, so you might have a head start, but hopefully you've forgotten a little bit by now. So first up, imagine you open up your phone, you get this text and it says, "Hey mum, I've lost my phone. Can you WhatsApp me? Here's my new number. I'm at EE. It's urgent." Do you think this is a scam? You can unmute your mic, pop it in the chat, thumbs up, thumbs down. Do you think this is a scam?
Yes.
Yes. We all know about that one.
Yes. Why? What red flags are popping out to you here?
I think if my kid loses their phone, they should be out with someone that I would know, that I can call.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. And that's definitely what you should do. If you get this text and you generally do think it could be plausible, you want to contact that friend that you already know, that contact that you already know and trust. It's a very, very popular scam, but you'd be surprised of how many people have actually engaged with it and actually fallen victim to it, unfortunately. I was at another women in business networking group, I think, in Hertfordshire recently, and one of the ladies there was saying that her mum, who's quite elderly, was literally about to send £600 over to this person for a new phone, and it's only when she came over to the house and the mum was like, "Oh yeah, I'm just about to send the money, like, are you okay?" And then she was like, "What do you mean?" And then they realized it was a scam. So the thing is, that's what they're doing. They're just sending, like I said at the beginning, they're sending out thousands and thousands of these. And it just takes that one person who has, you know, a coincidental situation, or their kid does always lose their phone or lose their charge or something like that, for them to engage with it. So yeah, that was a scam. Well done, guys. Next one I'll read out because I know it's quite small. It says, "Dear exhibitor, the Business Show 2024 pre-registered attendees list is available now to fulfill your company's promotional efforts. Can you let me know if you want to receive the attendees list by email? Kindly pick the number 1/2 that describes your response. Yes, interested. Send me pricing, other data information to opt out." And it's from a Carol Smith, and there's no email. So if you get this email through to your inquiries inbox, are you thinking this is a scam, or are you thinking it's legit? This one always has a little bit of, ooh. Are there any red flags that are jumping out to anybody straight away?
Straight away, the fact it says exhibitor. If you are an exhibitor, then you'd be tempted. If you're not an exhibitor, you know, don't definitely straight away. It's a.
And if it's a formal email, why do I have the smiley face next to the dear exhibitor? It's meant to be like professional. So why the smiley face?
Exactly, and it's the first time that they're contacting you as well. So like you're on that friendly basis where you can pop a little smiley face at the end, is it? No.
Well, if I'd joined a list to be an exhibitor somewhere, I'd expect them on the mailing list to know my name. If I'd
Exactly.
asked to be on it, it should say either my name or my company name at the very least.
Yes, brilliant. These are all good things to point out. The thing is, if you're busy and you're on a Friday and you just start your business and you want to get a jump start on networking, you might well engage with this because you want to know. It's playing on your curiosity almost. So,
Yeah. Especially knowing that that's a real show and it is at London Excel, and those are the dates it generally is as well.
exactly. So you could go and look at this and do a little Google yourself, like, oh no, it is legit. And there might even be a Carol Smith who generally works there and it is on LinkedIn. That's what they'll do nowadays because they know that people go Google it to check. Like even on scam calls, they'll be like, no, look up this, it's perfect. And they can even do things like spoof like the bank's phone numbers so it looks real and everything like that. So it's getting crazy nowadays, especially with AI as well. It's getting crazy. But this came through to our very own inquiries inbox. Now, the first red flag for me was that we hadn't booked to go to the show. So I was like, well, that's suspicious. And secondly, no one does this anymore. If I feel like, you know, maybe 10 years ago, it wasn't public knowledge if you were going to, who was going to attend the networking show or the trade show or something like that. So you would maybe want to get a pre-registered attendee so you know who's there, so you know who you want to go speak to and everything like that. Nowadays with social media, they are promoting it everywhere. For example, like a local chambers trade show, they've got it on their website. They give you like a badge to put on your email footer. They ask you to post it on your social media. It is promoted everywhere, very open source and very accessible. So it's just not something that happens. But if you are new to networking, you could fall for this. Also, there is no email. So here where it says Carol Smith, there's no email. I haven't blurred that out. There's just nothing here. So that's suspicious as well. And then finally, it's blurry here in the footer. So yeah, this was just a poor example of a phishing email. So yeah, that definitely was one. Next.
I suppose, sorry, with that one, I suppose the thing is also though, I know now you're saying they want to engage you first, but I suppose it's also like, oh, well, I'm just saying, yes, I'm interested. No, I'm not. They're not particularly asking for anything.
Yes, yeah.
So I guess the temptation is, oh, I'll just reply. Nothing stands out that they're asking for anything that could be suspicious.
Yeah, and this is why this one always gets people, and it's why I always include it in the slides, because there's no link. There's nothing that they're trying to get you to do straight away. And I think personally, with these kind of phishing attacks, there's two sides of it. It's either they directly want to get you to click on a link straight away, or they want you to enter your bank details or personal information, as we saw in that video, so they can further attack you. Or, like I said with the switchboard analogy, they just want to see if you're going to light up, and then they can zoom in on you and pull that information out of you. And sometimes it's not all doom and gloom. Sometimes they are just playing on your curiosity like this. Other times it will be things like from Amazon saying your account is going to be locked straight away, you must click on this link, and they're trying to get you not to think before you click on it. But here, you're right, Caroline, they're playing on that curiosity just to see. And if you say yes, interested, I can guarantee they will respond saying, oh yeah, here it is, it's only £4.99. And then you give them your bank details and then it goes. So sometimes it's as low level as that, like a snake lying in the grass, they're just waiting to bite and attack. So final one, you open up Facebook Messenger and it says, oh my God, is that you in this video? Do you think this is a scam? Yes or no?
Yes, I'm going to click on anything that's links.
Very good, very good. Why do you think this is a scam? So if this actually came from one of your friends who you know and trust and they sent you this, would you believe it? Or even if it wasn't a bitty link, if it was a TikTok video or something like that, would you click on it? Because I might.
I think I might.
Yeah, because I'm curious. But again, it's a very popular scam. Was very, very popular in COVID. So what actually happens is once you click on that link, it takes you to a page that looks like Facebook, and it says, or it looks like TikTok or whatever it's directing you to. And it will say, enter your Facebook login details to view the video. So you put in your email address, you put in your password. If you have a multi-factor authentication set up, it will ask you for the code that's been texted to your phone, which looks legit because when you log into the actual Facebook app, that's real. You have to do that anyway. So you put it in, and then you just hand it over all your details. So now they can get into your account. They'll change your password instantly to lock you out. And then they send it to all your friends, because if it's coming from your friend, you're more likely to engage with it. So they use that profile to, you know, get to everybody. So yeah, that was a very sophisticated one. This can be really detrimental if you operate your business off social media. So we've had cases come into the centre where they use Facebook Business and it's linked to their personal profile, and their personal Facebook or something has been hacked, and then suddenly their whole business page has gone. So they can't contact their clients, they can't access all their photos that have been on there or anything like that. There's actually somebody who came in who ran a pub in a village, and his personal Facebook got hacked and he lost all his 3,000 followers, and they did everything on that. They took bookings, they posted all the menus, they'd had this account for almost 10 years and it all went overnight. And Meta, it's quite hard to get in touch with them once your account's gone. It's quite difficult to get it back. So yeah, it can be very devastating, particularly if you're operating on social media. But I will give you some tips on how to protect yourself in the next couple of slides. So ways to spot a phishing attack. The reason why we just focused on phishing in that little game was because, like I showed you on the figures slide, the most common type of attack is phishing, and they come in loads of different forms, as we've just seen. And the number one thing is that they are designed to get you to do something. So like I said with those two slides, either to click on a link, enter your bank details, or show that you're live on that switchboard. So they use different things to do this. So sometimes they use urgency, like I said with the Amazon example, trying to rush you into paying that bill as soon as possible so you don't have time to think. They use authority, so they'll pretend to be somebody that you know and trust, so you're sort of scared into an action. A very popular example of this is the LinkedIn scams. I don't know if anyone's heard of this. When you're on LinkedIn, obviously a lot of people share that they just posted a new job, and I did it when I first started. And as soon as I posted it, I got an influx of emails to my personal work email, not even the inquiries one, the personal work email, pretending to be my manager, Paul Lopez, saying, and some of the email addresses were literally his email address because they'd spoofed it. No, it's like Paul Lopez 1, or like the O would be changed to a 0, so you wouldn't really notice it. And it would be like, Paul Lopez has asked you to arrange a meeting, or can you message me on WhatsApp? I need you to do something for me as soon as possible, something like that. Now, luckily, I work in quite a small team. So on my first week, I was able to message Paul and say, like, was this you? But if I worked in a very big team and the CEO is sending me that message, I might engage that a bit more. And again, what happens with that is that they'll message you on WhatsApp. They have a profile picture that looks exactly like your manager or whatever. They message you and they'll ask you to go do something like buy gift cards. So go to your local shop, buy gift cards, or order a bunch of Amazon gift cards online. And then they'll ask you to send all the codes for them, so they get all the money that way. So again, they have so many like webs of attacks that they can do just by this information that you've just put online. You haven't even realized what's out there about you. They're also use impersonation, like I just said, or they'll play on your curiosity. That's a big one. They'll just see if, oh, have you seen this? You're curious and you click on that link. Other things to check for, look for grammar and poor spelling. Like Kemi mentioned with the smiley face, when you're just getting a first introduction email, that's not really professional. So why would you, send that? Have a look at the email address. Sometimes it's not even an email address, or if it's from Amazon, the email address will say bob@hotmail.com. It's probably not going to be Amazon. Hover over the URL link before clicking so you can see if it looks legit. And if you're in doubt, you can go to the legitimate site that you know and trust and check the information there rather than click on the link. So a little bit of a story for this. We have two laptops at work. So I have my laptop I do my Eastern Cyber Resilience Centre work on, and then I have my police laptop. So obviously there's certain things you can't do on a police laptop. And I logged onto my police laptop one day, and I had an internal phishing email that was sent by the police, but it looked like it was just a campaign to see who engages with it. And it basically was from Microsoft Teams saying, you've got a voicemail. Now, I opened up my Microsoft Teams app, there was no voicemail there, and I was like, so where is it? Like, what's happening? Because I'm not on that laptop as much as this one, I was just like, what's happening? I need to know like who's contacted me. So I just clicked on the link, and then it said, you've fallen victim to a phishing attack. You must go to cybercrime training. And I was like, great, because I work in cybercrime. It instantly alerts my manager as well, so he knew. And I was like, great, what a great Tuesday I'm having. Like, this is brilliant. And that was all just based on my personal circumstances, that I had 2 laptops, I'm not on one as much, and that happened and this happened, and it led me just to click on it. So I should have just stopped. As soon as I went onto Microsoft Teams app and saw there wasn't a voicemail on there, I should have just ignored the email, but I didn't, and I had to go to my training, but you know, that's all fine. You can also confirm the information with a person using a different communication method. So, for example, the case study we saw, if someone's calling you or someone's sending you an email or dodgy invoice that you don't really recognize, or they send it quite urgently or aggressively, you can call up that client that you already know and trust and just ask them, did you send this over? Is it for this amount? Can you confirm this? Or set up a safe word with your client. So if you say it's like blackcurrant, so when you call it, you can say, okay, is this a blackcurrant invoice? And then you can confirm, so you know you're talking to the right person, and that verification is there. And then also always stop and take that extra 5 seconds and ask yourself, is this too good to be true? Because you can save yourself a lot of time, a lot of money, and a lot of reputational damage. So moving on to what you can do to protect your business now. The first thing that you can do is use strong passwords. Now, this is very, very tedious, and you've probably all heard it before, and you probably all know, yes, I know I need to use strong passwords, but this table can really, really show you why. So this table was created by a cybersecurity research group called Hive Systems, and they basically put together some data to show you how long it would take for a cyber criminal to crack your password, depending on how complex it is. Now, when they're cracking your password, they're using a method called brute forcing, which is basically just spamming your password field with as many password combinations as possible. So they're not sat there thinking, I wonder if their password is I love Man City 123. No, they're spamming it with the systems that they have to see. And also on the dark web, there's things called password lists, which has every single word in every single dictionary in every single language. And it has all the common like pet names, children's names, football teams, like all popular pop culture things like that as well. And all different combinations, all different numbers. And there's like 4.6 billion words in this. And they'll use that first. So if you have a very common password that is like floppy 123 because it's your bunny's name, then that's going to be in there as well. So you want to make sure that, oh, I'm using my kid's name, no one really knows that. No, you want to make sure it's secure and unique. So you can see here, if you have a password that's lowercase letters only, and let's just say 7 characters long, it can take up to 50 minutes to hack into your account. Whereas if you have a password that's more complex, and let's just say 13 characters long, it can take up to 11 billion years to crack your password. Now, I don't know what top government secrets you're hiding if someone's trying to hack you for 11 billion years, but but yeah, you want to try and be in the yellow or the green, or just, you know, as long as your lifetime would be good. Passwords are the first line of defense when it comes to protecting your account. It's the most simple thing you can do. When we speak to a lot of organizations, they're like, oh, but I have an IT company or I have an MSP. That's great, and they're working hard to protect your organization, but they can put all the technical controls in place. But if your password is something that's so easy to guess, or if you click on a phishing link, for example, the M&S attacks, that was done by putting that information out from a employee. So they just got that log, they got the login details from the employee. And that could have been as simple as, oh, as an M&S employee, so like the employee could have got an email that said, as an M&S employee, you're entitled to a £20 Starbucks voucher. Click on this link to access it. You go to the website, it looks like a legit website. It asks you to enter in your M&S employee login details, and then the criminals have access to that now. Now, that's, I don't know, I don't think that's what happened, but I'm saying that it can be as simple as that. And you think about your keys. You have a different set of keys for your office, for your shed, for your house, for your car. That's the same way as what passwords should be. They should all be secure and unique for every account and device. Can anyone tell me why they should all be secure and unique? What happens if they're all the same?
If they get into one account, they can have access to every other thing. So even if they get into one, you have like a safety net to control every other like account. Exactly.
Making it so much easier for the criminals. So like, oh great, you use this for everything. Let's see what else we can get into. So yeah, that is incredibly important. So the National Cybersecurity Centre, who give us all of our guidance, they are the UK's governing body for cyber. They recommend to use 3 random words with some special characters and numbers to create a password that puts you in this sort of section over here. but it also makes it easy to remember. So you take a memory that's unique to you, and you combine the words from that. So you pluck like 3 words from that, combine it in a random order, and then you add a mixture of upper and lowercase letters and some special characters and numbers, and then you have a password that's secure and unique, but is getting you into that section over there as well. And it's also easy to remember. You can also use a password manager. So password managers are built into everything nowadays. They're built into your web browser, on your phone, and it's basically a encrypted vault that locks your passwords inside for you. So all you need is one password to access that encrypted vault, and then everything's stored there for you. And it'll also create passwords for you as well that are secure and unique. So it's all those jumbled letters that you see when you go onto a website. Password managers are brilliant, but remember, like I said right at the beginning, anything that's online can be hacked. And there's been cases where password managers have been hacked because they're online, and think how much valuable data there is in that. So you can also write down your passwords in a notebook that's kept in a locked drawer in your office, and is only accessible by you. And I personally always say that it's always best to do a risk assessment on sort of your day-to-day, because if you work from home, for example, I work from home primarily, it's less likely that someone's going to get access to that notebook in my locked drawer than someone's going to hack the password manager. Whereas if you're always traveling to and from London, for example, it's likely that that notebook could be burgled from your bag, or someone could get access to it. So you just want to do a risk assessment, or do a mixture of both, so you have that offline backup of your passwords as well. And I know that you're always out there thinking, yeah, but I have hundreds of passwords. How the hell do I know how to change them? I recommend making a list of all the common accounts that you use. So priority first should be email, social media, banking, and set a calendar reminder to take 5 or 10 minutes every Tuesday evening or something with a cup of tea, and just change 5 or 10 passwords and write them down or put them in a password manager. And then you're slowly building your resilience against cyber attack, with that first line of defense. Remember that bear attack analogy that I said? By doing that, you're just running slightly ahead to the person next to you who's also getting chased by the bear. So that's a good tip that I'd recommend. Second thing you can do to protect yourself is enable multi-factor authentication. Again, very basic and very tedious, but this is the type of things that can literally save you. So that's when you log into Netflix, for example, and you get that code text to your phone. That's multi-factor authentication. And it's basically 2 or more pieces of information that verify who you are. So you have your password that says, hi, I'm Sapphire, and then you have the code that says, yeah, this is me, or my Face ID, or my fingerprint, or the code that's been texted to my app, something like that. I said passwords are like having those secure unique keys. Multi-factor authentication is like having that deadlock or that chain on your door. So even if someone does get access to your keys, they can't actually get into your house because you've got that chain across. So very, very important to enable. You just go into your settings of any account, any app, any device like that. If you usually type in at the top multi-factor authentication, it will appear, or if you go into your private settings, it'll be there, and I'll be happy to jump on a private call and walk you through it after this as well. So was someone going to ask a question? No, don't worry. We've also had a case come in recently that was a gentleman that was running his business using all Microsoft products, and he didn't have multi-factor authentication enabled on his email, unfortunately, because he didn't know it was a priority, and which is obviously no fault of his own, and he had a very weak password for it as well. That's easy to guess. So long story short, his email account got hacked. He used the same password for his email as he did for his banking, so that got hacked as well. He had sent his passport in these emails beforehand, so they were able to find that and do identity fraud on him as well. And they mimicked his website for his business, and it's still running to this day, and he can't get the scam website taken down. And it was so devastating. He lost so much money, and it was such a hard attack because no one's taking responsibility for what happened, whether it's the bank, whether it's Outlook, or whatever. It's so difficult, and he can't get the scam website taken down either nowadays as well, because the threat actors are based outside of the country. So it's simple things like this that can save you. And when I was speaking to him the other day, he was saying, I wish I knew how important it was to have this enabled back then. But if you don't know, you don't know. So yeah, very important to enable passwords and multi-factor authentication. So moving on to some free tools before we come to the end. First one is Have I Been Pwned? So this is a great tool to help you understand where your current cyber resilience level is. So basically it's a free to use website. You go into it and you put in your email or your phone number, and it will tell you if you've appeared in a data breach before. And it's completely free to use and it's legit. Otherwise we wouldn't be recommending it as the police. I've put my email in it, my personal email, and I've been in 4 breaches, I think. One of them was my Fitness Pal, which is that calorie counting app that happened in 2018. And a lot of these companies, they're based outside the UK, so they have no obligation to let us know that they've lost our data in a data breach. And it will tell you what's been lost. So it will say My Fitness Pal, your username, password, IP address, email address has all been leaked. So if you're getting a lot of scam calls or a lot of phishing emails, you can go on this website, see if you've been in any data breaches, and then you know what information about you is already out there. And if I looked at that and thought, oh, for one of those breaches, I still use that password regularly, you want to make sure you change that, because just imagine that's public knowledge now, that's out there, and it might be one of those password lists that I've mentioned. The second great free tool I'd recommend is the National Cybersecurity Centre's Cyber Action Plan. So basically it asks you a bunch of questions about your current cyber resilience and your awareness of it. And then it puts together some areas that you need to focus on. So it gives you a nice handy action plan of what to focus on first. So you can understand what's available about you online, and then you can have next steps, tangible next steps of what to do first. I will send links to these afterwards as well. Now, moving on to how the ECRC can help before I finish. Basically, we are part of a national network of centres. We're all police-led and funded by the Home Office. There's a cyber resilience centre for each region across the country, and we mainly work with small and medium organisations, charities and schools to help you boost your resilience against cybercrime. So we do awareness talks like this. We have a free membership that you can sign up to, which I'll talk a bit more about in the next slide. We offer a bunch of funded cybersecurity services. So we do Microsoft 365 reviews, so a review of your current setup that you have. We can do vulnerability assessments of your website. We can do more in-depth and repeated staff awareness training, all free of charge because it's all police. And yeah, we sort of just want to be your local point of contact, a trusted point of contact if you have any questions, anything related to cybercrime, and sort of help build your resilience against that. So zooming in on the membership a bit more, it is called a membership, but it's basically just joining our community so that you can have that sort of long-term changes in your behaviour. Once you sign up for our newsletter, first of all, you'll get a monthly newsletter that gives you the latest sort of guidance and any signposting to the latest tools and resources that are available. You'll also get regional and national threat alerts. So if there's a particular scam going around in your industry or in your area, we can alert you of that and steps to avoid falling victim to it. Like I said, signposting to all the free tools. I've just mentioned 2 or 3 in this presentation, but there's loads out there that can help you. And then you have access to the funded cybersecurity services that I offered as well through our CyberPath programme. And we operate across Bedfordshire, Cambridgeshire, Essex, Hertfordshire, Norfolk, Suffolk and Kent. But wherever you're based in the country, there is support because we all do the same thing. So that's brilliant. And there's some lovely photos of me and my team out and about here, looking all great. Like I said, there's only 4 of us that cover the whole of the east of England, so it's a lot of driving some days as well. So I'll send the link out to this afterwards. If you want to sign up, you should just Google Eastern Cyber Resilience Centre. You can sign up there as well. We also offer like one-to-one support as well. So if you just want to jump on a Teams call with me and sort of talk through anything I've discussed today in more detail, then we are here as well. But finally, before I finish, 4 things to remember. Firstly, make your password secure and unique. So use those 3 random words that the guidance that I showed you, or use a password manager, or write it down in a notebook that's only accessible by you. And don't use the same password across multiple accounts. Why? Why shouldn't you use the same password across multiple accounts?
They can't get into everything if they get one.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you for listening. Enable multi-factor authentication across your accounts and devices, but especially on your email account and your social media. Remember, it's like that deadlock on your front door. Have a look at the free tools and resources, which I'll send the links out to afterwards. And then finally, if you'd like to, you can sign up to our newsletter to continue to receive that free police guidance. Some really interesting and good links about reporting suspicious websites, emails, text messages, and then links to the things as well. I'll send this out to Cheryl afterwards. And that brings me nicely to the end, right on time. Thank you very much for listening. Does anybody have any questions? Brilliant. Thank
No
you.
questions from me, but thank you. There were some bits in there I remembered and some bits I'd forgotten. We have signed up for the membership.
Yeah.
When you send the details over, I will pop them all with the recording of this as well, so everyone's got easy access to it. But no, that was really, really helpful, and yeah, reminded me a couple of things as well. So thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Has anyone else got any questions before I stop recording? No? Cool. I'll just end the recording.